Now, the case against suspended African National Congress Secretary General Ace Magashule and 16 co-accused has been postponed to January of next year. The postponement comes after Magashule and the other accused petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal to overturn a Bloemfontein High Court ruling which dismissed his application to have the matter quashed. Let's get some reaction now. I'm joined by political analyst Professor Theo Venter. Very good evening to you, Professor Venter. Thank you for your time. With the postponement, we'll only hear this matter again next year. But in the meantime, could we say it appears Ace Magashule's attempts to have this matter quashed and petition to the Supreme Court of Appeal may have backfired?
Yeah, well, I think definitely it has, because it is in part the reason for the postponement, because certain things must first be cleared in certain courts, and therefore the court said, let's wait until we've got clarity on the requests made by Mr. Magashule and some of the other accused. And so in a sense, he caused the delay.
So he was suspended from his position as ANC Secretary General as a result of this case. Magashule has expressed his grievances over this postponement, saying that it stunts his chances of being elected to a high-ranking position in the ANC. What does this court matter mean? Should Ace Magashule be nominated ahead of the ANC's National Elective Conference in December?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. This afternoon, there was a message from the Electoral Commission of the ANC under the leadership of Kgalema Motlanthe saying that people must desist from announcing or indicating who they would like to be nominated because there is a democratic process. So what we can expect is that branches, and I'm sure some branches in the Free State and some probably in KZN, would nominate Mr. Magashule. There's nothing that prevents them from nominating him. That's an open process. But then once all the nominations are collated and the Electoral Commission check for two things: eligibility, well, if you step aside, then that one falls away. And secondly, the quantum, how many branches have done that. And then we will get an announcement of who actually made the list. And I think it is in that process that Ace Magashule will in all probability be taken off the list. So yes, we can expect a nomination, and that would in a sense be almost a protest vote by nominating Ace Magashule from certain branches and certain elements, factions within the ANC.
Now, the National Prosecuting Authority says this matter could take years before it's eventually finalized. Magashule has on multiple occasions claimed that this case is nothing more than a plot to destroy his political career. Is there significant damage when it comes to his political aspirations?
Yeah, there's definitely political damage, and it can take years. There are 16 accused in a case, a fairly sizable case of alleged corruption in terms of the asbestos story. If we only take one page out of the Zuma court cases, then we know that cases based on commercial crimes or corruption are far more complicated and delicate than, let's say, a case of murder or a case of this or that or the other. So you need more skills, and you need specialized prosecution, and you need specialized documentation and everything that goes with that. So yes, it will in all probability take long. And every time you try to introduce some or other Stalingrad tactic to appeal to the appeals court, or to maybe go to the constitutional court about technicalities, then the time actually prolongs. Now, why would they prolong? In some cases, like the Zuma case, I think the game here is to prolong and get a date as far away from when it happened, so that the memory of people and the systems and so on becomes a little bit confused about what's going on. But the courts have a very, very specific system and process how it works. Everything is on paper, everything is documented. So if you think that people are going to forget, well, not in the legal fraternity. They won't forget.
So what does this now mean for Magashule in terms of his following and popularity? With this criminal matter taking several years, as said by the NPA, what impact do you think it has on his following and his popularity?
Yeah, he's still popular in certain parts of the ANC and certain regional areas. But I think there are 3 or 4 things how it impacted on his political career. I think being elected this year as Deputy Secretary General for the 2nd term is out. That won't happen. Secondly, there might be a way in which they accommodate him in future years in another post or somewhere else. That can be one way of which the ANC would kind of put him somewhere else to keep him busy. A third option would be if everything fails, he would look for a new political home. Although he said that the ANC is in his blood, he will never do that. With politicians, anything is possible. And the fourth thing is he could lead a breakup or a partial erosion of the ANC. If I listened to him carefully today, he was in a fighting mood. He was in a fighting spirit, saying things about the ANC which I have not heard him say before, about the ANC failing people and all those kind of things. I mean, it's a collective. The ANC is a group, and he's part of that collective. So it was a quite interesting way of putting it.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on that matter. Political analyst Professor Theo Venter there, speaking about the multi-million rand corruption case and the impact on Ace Magashule, which has been postponed to January of next year.